How are you doing, math learners? This is your free access YouTube edu creator, Math Teacher Ash, and welcome to another reviewer series in preparation for the second quarter examination. In this video, we will be tackling questions and competencies related to the grade 10 mathematics. Alright, in this video, we will answer 40 questions. And if you are new to the channel, my dear math learners, please click the subscribe button and notification bell for you to be updated of these cool, clear math videos just like this. Of course, another reminder is to prepare your pen and paper and try to test yourselves in this question. If you needed more time to answer each question, you can pause it and then play it along in order for you to know the correct answer. Alright, so without further ado, let's do this. Question number 1. When can we say whether x minus 5 is a factor of f of x is equal to x cubed minus 5x squared plus 6x plus 10? Is it A, if f of 0 is equal to 10? B, if f of 5 is equal to 0? C, if f of negative 5 is equal to 0? Or letter D, if f of 5 is equal to 10? I'll give you 5 seconds to think about your answer. Alright, my dear math learners, in order to answer this question, first is we need to know the value of the factor. So, since we have given here the quantity x minus 5, if we try to equate it to 0 and solve for the value of x, the value of x would become positive 5 because we will transpose this negative 5 to the other side, giving us 0 plus 5. So, that will become positive 5. So, therefore, in knowing whether this is a factor of this given function, what we can do is that it will start with the f of 5. So among the choices, only B and D has the f of 5. So therefore, letter A and letter C is already wrong. Alright. Now, which among these two is the correct answer? My dear math learners, in the factor theorem, it means that when a certain factor or when a certain binomial is considered a factor of a certain function, it means that it can only happen if and only if the result of that value, when evaluated, is equal to 0. Alright, so therefore the correct answer is letter B. Easy, right? Very easy, my dear math learners. Now let us go to question number 2. Question number 2. Factor 25x squared minus 16. Is it A, the quantity 5x minus 4 squared? B, the quantity 5x plus 4 times the quantity 5x minus 4. C, the quantity 5x plus 4 times the quantity 5x plus 4. Or letter D, the quantity 5x minus 4 times the quantity 5x minus 8. I'll give you 5 seconds to think about your answer. Alright, my dear math learners, this question is basically a topic that is already been discussed when you were still in grade 8. Why? Because this is the sample of the difference of two squares. So this is a perfect square, the 25x squared, as well as the 16 is also a perfect square. Now, how can you factor the difference of two squares? Basically, my dear math learners, you can just have two quantities in which the root of each term will be the parts of those quantities, but there is a change in the middle sign. So therefore, the correct answer, my dear math learner, is letter B. Alright. Easy, right? Very easy, my dear math learners. Why is that so? Because 25x squared, when you get the factor, the perfect factors, that would be 5x and 5x. Of course, negative 16, when you factor it, that would become positive 4 and negative 4. Alright. Now, let us go to question number 3. Which of the following is not a polynomial function? Is it A, x cubed plus x squared minus 5x plus 6 is equal to 0? D, x to the power of negative 2 plus 3x cubed minus 4 is equal to 0? C, x squared plus 4x minus 4 is equal to 0? Or letter D, 5x to the 4th power minus x cubed plus 2 is equal to 0. I'll give you 5 seconds to think about your answer. Alright, my dear math learners, the thing you need to consider in identifying a certain equation that is not a polynomial is that if a given equation has this following scenario, this will negate or this will not satisfy a polynomial function. So what are those? First one is if you have a negative exponent. The second one is if there is a variable inside the radical sign. Third, if there is a variable in the denominator side. And finally, if you have an exponent that is a fraction. So, basically, my dear math learners, among the choices here, there is only one equation that do not satisfy a polynomial equation, and that is the equation with a negative exponent. That is letter D. Alright.
Easy, right?
Very easy, my dear math learners. Now, let us go to question number 4. The rational root theorem states, A, rational roots are factors of the constant term divided by the leading coefficient. B, rational roots are factors of the leading coefficient divided by the constant term. C, rational roots are integers when coefficients are positive. Or letter D, rational roots are always between -1 and +1. I'll give you 5 seconds to think about your answer. Alright, my dear math learners, the technique here in answering this question is very, very simple. Why? Because talking about the rational root theorem, when we say rational root, it means that you will be dividing your constant term by its leading coefficient. So, making your leading coefficient into equal to 1. So, therefore, the correct answer here is letter A. Alright, we are correct, my dear math learners.
Easy, right?
Very easy. So, my dear math learners, basically, this rational root theorem is an example or is a part when you are solving the completing the square method, if you can still remember that in your grade 9 topics. Alright. Now, let us go to question number 5. Solve 3x cubed minus 2x squared minus 5x is equal to 0. If x is equal to -1 is a root, what's next? Is it A, use synthetic division to simplify further? B, stop since a root has been found? C, verify by substituting x is equal to -1 back into the f of x? Or letter D, use a synthetic division to simplify further. Rewrite as x plus 1 or the quantity x plus 1 times the quantity 3x squared minus 5x. I'll give you 5 seconds to think about your answer. Alright, my dear math learners. So, it says here in number 5 is that we need to solve. So, therefore, basically, you should not stop because if you have x cubed, it means there is a possibility that you have 3 values of x. You only got 1 value of x, right? So, you should not stop because there are more to it. Alright, so that is clear. So, letter B is wrong. Okay. Now, since you already got this statement, x is equal to -1 is a root, meaning you don't need to verify that 1. So, you cannot do this letter C and go back to your original because you are trying to solve. Alright, so we only have these two. Use synthetic division to simplify further, or use the synthetic division to simplify further and rewrite it. So there is a continuation about this. Alright, so let's consider these two choices, my dear math learners. So in solving this one, you can apply the synthetic division. So basically, my dear math learners, if you have here your factor or your root, which is -1, therefore, the coefficients 3, -2, and -5. Of course, there is no constant root here, so that is understood to be 0. So that will be 3, -2, -5, and 0. Now, the technique in synthetic divisions is very simple. You bring down, you multiply it, so that will become -3, and then you add, so that will become -5. Then you multiply it again, and that will become +5. Adding these two, this will become 0, 0 times -1, that is 0, so 0. So basically, you have x plus 1 for this one, all right, when you transpose it as a factor. And then your answer here, since we have a remainder of 0, therefore we can say that x is equal to -1 is a factor or is a root. All right, so since this is 3x cubed, this will now become 3x squared, then minus, so that is lower than the x squared degree, which is x, so that is -5. All right, so you already got that scenario, my dear math learner. So basically, this is just the same as this one. Of course, the next step of this one is to further your synthetic division, or you can use the other way, which is factoring. Alright. So basically, my dear math learners, the correct answer is letter D. Alright, let's check whether we are correct. Alright.
Easy, right?
Very easy, my dear math learners. If you do have confusion on our discussion, you can pause it. You can rewind it, and listen to our discussion again. Of course, if that do not help, then you can put your inquiries in our comment section below. Now, let's go to question number 6. For f of x is equal to x to the 4th power minus 3x squared plus 2x minus 5, what is the degree of the polynomial? Is it A, 2, B, 3, C, 4, or D, 5? I'll give you 5 seconds to think about your answer. Alright, my dear math learners, this is very, very easy. Why? Because if you are asked what is the degree of a polynomial, you just need to find the highest exponent. Alright, that's as simple as that. So what is the highest exponent here? Of course, that is 4. So therefore, the correct answer is letter C. Alright.
Easy, right?
Very easy, my dear math learners. Now, let us go to question number 7. What is the maximum number of turning points of a degree 6 polynomial? Is it A, 5, B, 4, C, 6, or D, 7? I'll give you 5 seconds to think about your answer. Alright, math learners, this is another simple question. Why? Because knowing the maximum number of turning points of a given polynomial, what you need to do is just consider the degree, then subtract it by 1, because the formula for knowing the maximum number of turning points is n minus 1. So therefore, that is 6 minus 1. The correct answer is letter A. Alright.
Easy, right?
Very easy, my dear math learners. Now let us go to question number 8. Which graph corresponds to a cubic polynomial with a negative leading coefficient? Is it A, ends up, no turning points; B, left and up, right and down; C, left and down, right and up; or D, both ends up? I'll give you 5 seconds to think about your answer. Alright, math learners, if you do remember your nature of your polynomial functions, this is very, very okay. In the polynomial functions, what you need to consider is this. Okay, let me just show this to you. The a x to the power of n. Okay, let's consider this is the leading term. Alright, your a here represents the leading coefficient, and your n here represents your degree. Okay, now when your degree is even or odd, okay, there are only two ways. Even, those are 2, 4, 6, 8, and 10. So x squared, x to the 4th, all right. Now, odd, those are x, x cubed, x to the 5th power. Okay. When it is even, okay, the arrows or the ends of your graph is basically upward. That is, if the value of a is positive. All right. Otherwise, the 2 will be downward if the value of a is negative. When we say the value of a, the value or the sign of your leading coefficient. So we have here negative leading coefficient, but we are talking about cubic. Now, if we are talking about cubic, that is x cube, right? So therefore, it is under the odd. Now, if it is odd, then there are also two scenarios. It could start with below and then the other end will goes up, or it could go upward and then the other end goes down. Okay, now when will it happen? This one, as you can see, it is from low to high. That is increasing. This one, this is from high to low. Okay, so when can you consider that this is increasing? That is if the value of a is positive. Okay, otherwise, if it is negative like the question we have in our question, therefore this one will become your graph. So it ends up and then on the right it goes down. So left end, this is wrong. Left end up, okay, so this left end up and the right end is down. So the correct answer, my dear math learners, is letter B. Let's check whether we are correct.
Easy, right?
Very easy, my dear math learners. So I hope that is very clear to you. Of course, we also have a video of that in whole discussion in our channel. You can check that out. Now, let us go to question number 9. If the roots of the polynomial equation that represents the volume of a box are -2, +1, and 4, what is the polynomial factored form? Is it A, the quantity x plus 2 times the quantity x minus 1 times the quantity x minus 4? B, the quantity x minus 2 times the quantity x plus 1 times the quantity x plus 4? C, the quantity x plus 2 times the quantity x plus 1 times the quantity x minus 4? Or letter D, the quantity x minus 2 times the quantity x minus 1 times the quantity x plus 4. I'll give you 5 seconds to think about your answer. Alright, my dear math learners, this question is very easy. Why? Because what you need to do is you just consider these numbers. You just have to change its sign. So your negative 2 becomes plus 2, your 1 will become minus 1, and your 4 will become minus 4. So that is plus 2 minus 1 minus 4. So plus 2 minus 1 minus 4. So the correct answer is letter A.
Easy, right?
Very easy, my dear math learners. So now let us go to question number 10. What type of function is 2x cubed minus 5x plus 2 is equal to 0? Is it A, linear, B, quadratic, C, cubic, or D, quartic? I'll give you 5 seconds to think about your answer. Alright, math learners, this question is one of the easiest. Why? Because we have here our exponent, the highest degree is 3. So if it is 3, then that polynomial or that function is called cubic, because as we have read this earlier, 2x cubed. So that is cubic. Very easy, my dear math learners. So now let us go to question number 11. But before continuing, let's check first what is your score in the 10 questions that we have. Alright, so if you got 9 out of 10 or 10 out of 10 or 8 out of 10, you are doing a great job. So please share your scores in our comment section below. And I just like to congratulate you that you have already finished the first part of our reviewer series. Now let's go to question number 11. Which of this will be the graph of x to the 5th power plus 8x to the 4th plus 5x minus 6? Is it A, this one, B, this one, C, this one, or D, this one? I'll give you 5 seconds to think about your answer. Alright, my dear math learners, this question is somewhat related to what I have discussed earlier about the graph of a polynomial, right? Now, we have here 5 as our degree. So therefore, what is that? Is that odd or even? Very good, that is odd. So therefore, if you have odd, then there are 2 chances that will happen. It could be increasing or decreasing. So let's check our choices. So this is increasing, starts from below, going up, starts from below, going up. So letter B is also increasing. Letter C, it's decreasing. And letter D is both in downward. So letter D is automatically wrong. Alright, so at least we eliminated one of our choices. Now, what's next to this one? Next is our leading coefficient. So there is no number here, so it is understood positive 1. Now, if it is positive 1, it means that that is positive. So therefore, when it is positive, it is increasing. So therefore, it starts from below, then goes up. So this letter C is wrong because it goes up, then go below. This is decreasing. So this is wrong, letter C. Now, what we have here, A and B. Which of these 2 is the correct answer or might be the correct graph for our function? Now, my dear math learners, let us now consider our exponent, which is the degree. It is 5. Now, the turning points, as what I have earlier said in the previous questions, the turning point is attained when you subtract the degree minus 1. So that is n minus 1. So therefore, the graph should have at most 4 turning points. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4. Right. So this has 1, 2. So letter B has only 2 turning points. How about letter A? 1, 2, 3, 4. So basically, my dear math learners, the correct answer is letter A. Alright.
Easy, right?
Very easy, my dear math learners. Now let us go to question number 12. Which of this will be the graph of negative 3x to the 4th power plus 2x cubed plus 5x? Is it A, this one, B, this one, C, this one, or letter D, this one? I'll give you 5 seconds to think about your answer. Alright, math learners, the same as what we have earlier, question 11. So what we have now is even. So 4 here is an even number, right? So remember, there are 2 scenarios for even exponent. So if it is even, it could be both up or both down. All right. So letter A is already wrong. Letter C is already wrong. Letter B is also wrong. So basically, the correct answer is letter D. All right. Why? Why do we have that all of the arrows goes down? Because our value of A is negative. All right.
Easy, right?
Very easy, my dear math learners. Now let us go to question number 13. In the polynomial function, f of x is equal to 2x squared minus 5x plus 3. What is the value of f of 1? Is it A, 0, B, 1, C, negative 2, or D, positive 3? I'll give you 5 seconds to think about your answer. Alright, math learners, the technique here is very, very simple. Why? Because what we need to do is just evaluate. So when we say evaluate, we will be substituting the value of x by 1. So giving us 2 times 1 squared minus 5 times 1 plus 3. Of course, when we simplify that 1, this will become 2 times 1 because 1 squared is 1. Then 5 times 1, that will become 5 plus 3. So if we add negative 5 plus 3, that will be negative 2. 2 times 1, that will become 2. So 2 minus 2, that is 0. So therefore, the correct answer is letter A. Let's check whether we are correct. Alright.
Easy, right?
Very easy, my dear math learners. So I hope you got that one. Now, let us go to question number 14. Find the polynomial roots of x cubed minus 6x squared plus 11x minus 6 is equal to 0. Is it A, 1, 2, and 3, B, negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, C, 2, 3, and 4, or D, 1, negative 2, negative 3? I'll give you 5 seconds to think about your answer. Alright, my dear math learners, this is one of the challenging questions that we have right now. Why? Because we will be solving. Alright. So we can use the simplest way of getting the roots, and that is basically the what? Alright, the synthetic division. So let's consider positive 1. Okay, so let's get the coefficient of this given polynomial function. So that is 1, negative 6, that is positive 11, and negative 6. So if we make our over there, so bring down 1 times 1, that is 1. So if we add this 1, this will become negative 5. Negative 5 times 1, that is negative 5 pa rin. And if we add this 1, that will become positive 6. So 6 times 1, that is 6. So therefore, we have no remainder. Therefore, we can say that 1 is a factor. Okay, so 1 is a factor. So basically, letter B and letter C is already wrong. Alright, so we can check that one. Alright, we are correct. Now, how do we do this? Okay, so if we tend to make this into a, of course, this is cubic, right? So this will go down to 1 degree. This will become squared. So that will become x squared minus 5x, okay, plus 6, okay, because this is positive. So basically, this is already a quadratic expression. Now, if that is the case, you can apply your factoring method in which the factors of 6, when added, will become negative 5. So basically, what are those values? All right, so those are negative 3 and negative 2, because negative 3 and negative 2, when you multiply, that will become positive 6, and when you add them, that is negative 5. So we can say that when you get the value of x for this factor and you get the value of x for this factor, that will become x is equal to positive 2. The other one is x is equal to positive 3. Therefore, the correct answer is letter A. Let's check. All right. I hope you got that one, my dear math learners. Now, let us go to question number 15. Which of the following segment is the longest chord? Is it A? So this is the figure. Is it A, line segment FE, B, line segment BD, C, line segment CE, or D, line segment AC? I'll give you 5 seconds to think about your answer. Alright, my dear math learners. Now, this is one of the easiest question if you do have learned about circles. Now, in the parts of the circle, remember that the longest chord in a circle is basically the diameter. So, we will find the diameter in this given figure. So, that is BD or DB. That is the only one. Alright, we already got our correct answer.
Easy, right?
Very easy, my dear math learners. Now let us go to question number 16. Which of the following is a major arc? Is it A, arc FED, B, arc EFB, C, arc FCD, or D, arc DCB? I'll give you 5 seconds to think about your answer. All right, math learners. Now, talking about major arc, it is basically bigger than the semicircle, meaning the measurement is more than 180 degrees, but less than the whole 360 degrees, which is the circle. Okay, so let's check the figure. So FED, so that is FED. So this is the one. All right, so it is not bigger than half of the circle. So letter A is wrong. How about EFB? EFB, same. It did not go over in the half of a circle. So letter B is wrong. FCD. FCD. All right. So it is bigger, right? As you can see, this is already half of the circle. So going to F. FTD. So we already got our correct answer, my dear math learners, and that is letter C.
Easy, right?
Very easy. So now let us go to question number 17. An arc whose measure equals 180 degrees is called a semicircle. Which of the following is a semicircle? So, is it A, arc FED, B, arc EFB, C, arc FCD, or letter D, arc DCB? I'll give you 5 seconds to think about your answer. Alright, math learners, in getting the semicircle, this is very easy. Why? Because you just need to get half of the circle. Okay, FED, FED. So is this half? Alright, that's not half. A is wrong. EFB, EFB. Is it half? EFB? No, it's not half. So B is wrong. How about letter C? FCD. So that is very big, right? That's the major arc. That is also wrong. So basically, DCB, DCB. So DCB, this is the one. All right. So that is half of the circle. Therefore, the correct answer is letter.
Easy, right?
Very easy, my dear math learners. Now let us go to question number 18. If point A is the center of the circle, okay, that's clear. Which of the following best describes line segment AB? AB. Okay, this is the one. Is it A, diameter, B, chord, C, radius, or D, arc? I'll give you 5 seconds to think about your answer. Alright, math learners, this is very, very easy. Why? Because a segment that is part of the circle in one endpoint and the other endpoint is the center of the circle. That is the definition of, alright, very good, that is radius.
Easy, right?
Very easy, my dear math learners. Now let us go to question number 19. Line PQ is a line tangent to circle R at S. What is the point of tangency? Is it A, point P, B, point Q, C, point R, or D, point S? I'll give you 5 seconds to think about your answer. So my dear math learners, if you have a circle and that circle is named R, so basically it looks like this. Okay, so that is the circle, and then the middle of that one is R. Okay, so let's say that is R. So we have here that is R, right? Let's say that is R, right? Now there is a line in which that tangent, a line that is tangent. Okay, I don't know. All right. So that is the point of tangency. So this line, of course, there is an arrow there. There's an arrow here. All right. So I apologize to my drawing. This line is known as PQ. All right. But they are at S. All right. So question is, what is the point of tangency? Now, point of tangency is basically the intersection of the circle and the tangent line. So what is that? Of course, that is point S. That is very clear, my dear math learners. So therefore, the correct answer for this given question is letter D.
Easy, right?
Very easy, my dear math learners. So now, let us go to question number 20. In a circle, which of the following lines can never be a secant? Is it A, a line that intersects the circle at 2 points? B, a line that touches the circle at exactly 1 point? C, a line that intersects the circle at one end of a diameter? Or letter D, a line that passes through the center of the circle? I'll give you 5 seconds to think about your answer. Alright, math learners, this question is very, very easy because we just need to consider some definition. Okay, now basically the definition of a secant is it is a line that intersects the circle at 2 points. So therefore, this is a satisfaction, or it satisfies the definition of secant, but we are finding can never. Alright, so never is. So letter A is wrong. Okay, how about letter B? A line that touches the circle at exactly 1 point. Now that is another definition but different part of the circle, and that is not a secant. What do you call that one, or that scenario, or that line? My dear math learners, that is what we call tangent. Okay, the thing that we have already discussed in question number 19. So therefore, the correct answer for this question is letter B. Alright.
Easy, right?
Very easy, my dear math learners. So I'd just like to congratulate you for finishing half of our reviewer series. Now the question is, what is your score in the 20 questions that we just have? Share it in our comment section below. Okay, now let us go to question number 21. Which of the following is a central angle? Is it A, angle GHI, B, angle XOY, C, angle XYZ, or D, angle ABC? I'll give you 5 seconds to think about your answer. Alright, math learners, in identifying what is a central angle, let's know first, what is a central angle? A central angle is an angle located in the circle in which its vertex is the center of the circle. So what angle can we see in which its vertex is in the center? So this is the one, right? So we have XOY. Alright, we already answered the question. That is letter B.
Easy, right?
Very easy, my dear math learners. So now let us go to question number 22. Angle HGJ is a or an blank. Is it A, a central angle, B, a chord, C, inscribed angle, or D, radius? I'll give you 5 seconds to think about your answer. Alright, math learners, let's check in our figure where is this HGJ. So HGJ. Okay, so this is the one. Now, as you can see, this is an angle, right? An angle in which the vertex is part of the circle. Okay, if that is the case, what do you call that kind of angle? Alright, that is what we call inscribed angle. Letter C. Alright.
Easy, right?
Very easy, my dear math learners. Now, let us go to question number 23. Angle XZY is made by arc at A, JX, B, GY, C, XY, or D, HJ. I'll give you 5 seconds to think about your answer. Alright, math learners. Now, let us check first, where can we locate the XZY? XZY. Okay, so this is an inscribed angle. Alright, XZY. So this is the one. Okay. Now, it says here it is made by arc blank. Now, knowing about what arc that made that inscribed angle, basically it is talking about the intercepted arc. Okay. So if this is your XZY, the arc that it takes is this one. Okay, so what is that arc? That is arc XY. So the correct answer is letter C.
Easy, right?
Very easy, my dear math learners. So now let us go to question number 24. Two angles are made by the arc XY are A, angle JGH and angle XZY, B, angle XOY and angle XZY, C, angle IXZ and angle XOY, or D, angle HGJ and angle XOY. I'll give you 5 seconds to think about your answer. Alright, math learners, now let us check here. What is this arc? Okay, so the arc that we are talking about is this one. Okay, the XY. So what angles are being made by this one? So this is the one. Okay, this one and this one. Alright, so that would be XZY and XOY. XOY, XOY, and X. Okay, so we already got the correct answer, my dear math learners, and that is letter. Alright.
Easy, right?
Very easy, my dear math learners. So I hope you got that one. Now let us go to question number 25. The measure of a central angle in a circle is 120 degrees. What is the measure of the inscribed angle that subtends the same arc? Is it A, 120 degrees, B, 60 degrees, C, 240 degrees, or D, 90 degrees? I'll give you 5 seconds to think about your answer. All right, math learners, the relationship between the central angle and its intercepted arc is that they are equal. So central angle and its intercepted arc are equal. So if it is 120, then the intercepted arc is also 120. However, the question here is that what is the measurement of the inscribed angle that subtends to that the same arc? Okay. Now, if that arc that we are talking about, that 120, has also an inscribed angle, now, what would be the measurement of the inscribed angle? Remember the relationship of the inscribed angle and its arc. The arc is twice as much as the inscribed angle. And the inscribed angle, vice versa, it is 1/2 of the intercepted arc. So, therefore, if your intercepted arc is 120, then your inscribed angle, in order for you to know the measurement, you just divide it by 2. And that is equal to, very good, letter B, 60 degrees.
Easy, right?
Very easy, my dear math learners. Now, let us go to question number 26. If an inscribed angle in a circle subtends a semicircle, what is the measure of the inscribed angle? Is it A, 120 degrees, B, 45 degrees, C, 90 degrees, or D, 60 degrees? I'll give you 5 seconds to think about your answer. Alright, math learners, remember this. A semicircle is half of the circle. So, the whole circle is basically 360 degrees. So, half of that is a semicircle. That is 180 degrees. Now, if that is the case, if you make an inscribed angle in which that arc is being taken, so remember what I just said earlier, that the measurement of the inscribed angle is 1/2 its intercepted arc. Your intercepted arc right now is the semicircle. That is 180 degrees. So, therefore, 1/2 of 180 degrees is, very good, that is 90 degrees.
Easy, right?
Very easy. Alright, now let us go to question number 27. When a tangent and a secant intersect at the point of tangency, the angle between them is said to be half of, is it A, the measure of the intercepted arc, B, the radius of the circle, C, the circumference of the circle, or D, the diameter? I'll give you 5 seconds to think about your answer. Alright, my dear math learners. Now, talking about an angle that is formed when a tangent and a secant intersect. So, if that is the case, let's consider this drawing. Okay, so that is a circle. Okay, example. And then, we will be making, let's say, a line. Now, consider this is a secant. Okay, so that is a secant there. And then, so, just remember that seconds are lines. So, there should be an arrow at the end, okay, of each figure. Okay, and then, how about a tangent? So, let's make another tangent here. Okay, so this will be the point of tangency, my dear math learners. So, the angle that is formed, this one, okay, is said to be half of what? So, this one, half of this one. Alright, so what do you call that one? That is what we know as the intercepted arc. So, that is letter A, my dear math learners.
Easy, right?
Very easy. So, now let us go to question number 28. The angles formed when two seconds intersect inside the circle is blank. Half the sum of the intercepted arc. B, half the difference of the intercepted arc. C, equal to the difference of the intercepted arc. Or D, twice the smaller intercepted arc. I'll give you 5 seconds to think about your answer. Alright, math learners, this is an example of 2 seconds intersecting inside the circle. So, in order for you to understand it well, okay, let's consider one drawing. So, let's say that is your circle. And then, you have now your 2 seconds that intersect inside the circle. Okay, let's say that one. Okay, so this is the one, the angle. So, we will now be talking about the angle. So, what will happen right now with the angle? Alright, so the angle that is being said here, the angles formed. So we are talking about this one. Alright, this one, and this one. So how do you get that one? So basically, this two here is known as vertical angles. These two pair here, other vertical. Alright, now, how do you get the measurement of that? So, in getting the value of this one, this angle, or this angle, because they are just the same, okay, you need this arc and also this arc. But how do you solve that one? Basically, you just add them and then divide it by 2. So, which is that statement in our choices? Okay, that would be letter A. Alright.
Easy, right?
Very easy, my dear math learners. So now let us go to question number 29. Which of the following is true when two tangents intersect outside the circle? Okay, is it A, the angle's form is the sum of the intercepted arc? B, the angle's form is half of the sum of the intercepted arc? C, the angle's form is the difference between the intercepted arc? Or D, the angle's form is half the difference of the intercepted arc? I'll give you 5 seconds to think about your answer. Alright, my dear math learners, so this scenario goes like this. So let me just give you a scenario. Okay, so that circle is like this. And then we have two tangents. Okay, let's say two tangents, right? So two tangents would be like, and another tangent is here. So what do you call the angle here? Okay, so what is this angle? Alright, how do you get that one? So basically, my dear math learners, what you need to do is you just get this bigger arc and then subtract it to the smaller arc and then divide it by 2. So half of the difference of the two arcs. So that is letter D. Alright.
Easy, right?
Very easy, my dear math learners. Now let us go to question number 30. In the given figure, which is true for the measurement of HIY. HIY. Okay, so that's the 2 seconds that is formed outside. So we already discussed that in question number 29. Outside, when an angle is formed outside. Alright. So is it A, the measurement of angle HIY is equal to 1/2 the sum of HY and ZG? B, the measurement of angle HIY is 1/2 the difference of HY and ZG? C, the measurement of angle HIY is equal to 1/2 the difference of ZG minus HY, or ZG and HY? Or letter D, the measurement of angle HIY is equal to 1/2 the sum of HY and YG? I'll give you 5 seconds to think about your answer. Okay, remember, my dear math learners, that when you have an angle formed outside the circle, basically in order for you to get the measurement of that angle, you need to get the two intercepted arcs, but you just subtract them and get half of it. So therefore, 1/2 are all correct, but you subtract it. So therefore, letter A and letter D is already wrong. So this one, this bigger, this would be HY and this would be ZG. Okay, so therefore the correct answer is letter B.
Easy, right?
Very easy, my dear math learners. I'd just like to congratulate you for finishing 3 parts of our discussion in our reviewer series. Now the question is, what is your score right now having the 30 questions being asked? Okay, share it in our comment section below. And my dear math learners, if you still have not subscribed, please click that subscribe button. And if you think that this video can help other people, please share this to your fellow friends, classmates, and schoolmates. Now let us go to our last part of the discussion. Question number 31. What formula best describes the measurement of angle HOY? HOY. Alright, this one. So, an angle inside the circle. So, angle HOY is equal to 1/2 the arc HY minus arc GZ. B, the measurement of angle HOY is equal to 1/2 the sum of the arc HZ and GY. Or C, the measurement of the angle HOY is equal to 1/2 the sum of arc HY and GZ. Or letter D, the measurement of angle HOY is equal to 1/2 the difference of HY and HZ. I'll give you 5 seconds to think about your answer. Alright, math learners, we already know that when an angle is formed inside the circle, what we need to do is get 1/2 the sum of the given arcs. So therefore, my dear math learners, letter A is wrong, letter D is also wrong. Now, we are talking about HOY. This is HOY. So this is the angle that we need to get. Of course, the arcs that being talked about is this one and this, was both back-to-back angles are pertaining to the same measurement. So we have HY and ZG. HY. Alright, okay, this one. So letter C is the correct answer, my dear math learner. Alright, I hope you got that one. So now let us go to question number 32. Question number 32. Angle GHZ is equal to 40 degrees and angle HZY is equal to 60 degrees. what is the measurement of angle HOZ? Is it A, 20 degrees, B, 30 degrees, C, 80 degrees, or D, 120 degrees? I'll give you 5 seconds to think about your answer. Alright, math learners, let us put our values in our given so that we can solve this easily. So, GHZ, where is that GHZ? So, GHZ, so this is the one, right? This one. This is 40 degrees. Alright, HZY, HZY, so this is also the one being talked about. The measurement is 60 degrees. So I'll just make an arrow here. Okay, that is 60 degrees. Now, what is asked is HOZ. HOZ. So this is the unknown. Alright, this is the unknown, my dear math learners. So if this is the case, you can see that this is already forming a, what is that? Alright, that is a triangle. Now, remember that the three angles in a triangle is always having the sum of 180 degrees. Two angles are already given, 40 and 60, and that is 100. So therefore, in order to know the third angle, the measurement of the third angle, you just need to get 180 minus 100, and the correct answer is letter C.
Easy, right?
Very easy, my dear math learners. So I hope you got that one. Now let us go to question number 32. Now let us go to question number 33. If arc GZ is equal to 80 degrees and arc HY is equal to 120 degrees, find the measurement of angle ZOG. Is it A, 30 degrees, B, 60 degrees, C, 100 degrees, or D, 180 degrees? I'll give you 5 seconds to think about your answer. Alright, math learners, in order for us to know the measurement, let's first talk about the measurement. So, arc GZ, so this is the one, arc D is 80 degrees. Alright, arc HY, so this one, HY, okay, this one, HY, that is 120 degrees. So, the question is, what is the measurement of ZOG? Alright, so this is the angle being talked about. So, basically, they are just the same. So, if the angle is inside the circle, it means that you just need to add the two arcs, divide it by 2. So, 120 plus 80, that is 200, divide it by 2. The correct answer is very good, letter D. Let's check whether we are correct. Alright.
Easy, right?
Very easy, my dear math learners. Now, let us go to question number 34. Question 34. If line segments OG is equal to 6 units, and OH is equal to 10 units, and OZ is equal to 12 units, what is the length of OY? Is it A, 5 units, B, 8 units, C, 10 units, or D, 16 units? I'll give you 5 seconds to think about your answer. Alright, math learners, in order for us to solve this one, again, we need to have our given. So, we have here OG, that is 6. So, this is the one, that is 6. This line here, okay, this segment here. Then, we also have OH, this one. So, this is the one here, 10. So, therefore, we have OZ, this is 12. Okay, this is 12. Now, the question is, what is this one? Yeah, right. So, this line segment here. Now, in the circle, my dear math learner, the relationship is that when you multiply the two parts, it is the same product with the other two parts. Okay? So, therefore, the product of 10 and 6 should be the same as the product of 12 and that number here. Okay? So, how do we get that one? Of course, basically, what we need to do is you just multiply 10 times 6. That is 60, and 60 divided by 12. The correct answer is letter A. Alright, my dear math learners.
Easy, right?
Very easy for that. So that is 5. Alright, I hope that is clear to you, my dear math learners. Now, let us go to question number 35. In a line segment, OG is 6. Okay, the same question. The question is, what is the length of YZ? Y. Okay, so, okay, I'm very sorry I did not erase, but it is just the same figure, right? Okay, so might as well not erase it. All right, is it A, 6 units, B, 10 units, C, 12 units, or D, 17 units? I'll give you 5 seconds to think about your answer. Alright, my dear math learners, the same given is being presented here, okay? But our unknown is YZ. So YZ is where? Okay, so this one. So the combination of 12 and the thing that we have measured earlier. So that is 5. So 12 plus 5, that is 10 to the 17. So the correct answer is 17. All right.
Easy, right?
Very easy, my dear math learners. So I hope you got that one. Now, let us go to question number 36. What is the measure of angle HGY if arc HY is 120 degrees? Is it A, 45 degrees, B, 60 degrees, C, 120 degrees, or letter D, 150 degrees? I'll give you 5 seconds to think about your answer. All right, my dear math learner. So, HGY, where is that? HGY. Okay, so it is an inscribed angle here. HGY. So, the question is, okay, so that was the question. What is the inscribed angle? The measurement of the inscribed angle. If the HY is 120 degrees. Okay, that is very easy, my dear math learners, because the intercepted arc is twice as much as its inscribed angle. Of course, in order to get the measurement of the inscribed angle, what you need to do is divide the intercepted arc by 2. So 120 divided by 2, the correct answer is letter B. All right.
Easy, right?
Very easy, my dear math learners. So now let us go to question number 37. A satellite orbits above Earth's equator. What formula best describes the problem? Is it A, 15 degrees is equal to 1/2 times the quantity 360 minus x? B, 15 degrees is equal to 1/2 times the bracket 300 times the bracket and the quantity 360 degrees minus x degrees minus x degrees. C, 15 degrees is equal to 1/2 times the quantity 180 minus x degrees, or letter D, 15 degrees is equal to 1/2 times the bracket of the quantity 180 degrees minus x degrees minus x degrees. I'll give you 5 seconds to think about your answer. Okay, my dear math learners, this example, as you can see, has an angle that is formed outside. Now remember, if you have an outside angle, in order to get that angle, what we need to do is subtract the bigger intercepted arc to the smaller intercepted arc, then divide it by 2, right? Now, since this is a whole circle, that is equal to what degree? Very good. 100 to what degree? Very good. That is 360 degrees. So, therefore, letter C and letter D is already wrong. All right. So, now, if this is X, right? This measurement is X. What is the measure of this one? Okay, so if this is the whole circle, that is 360. In order for us to know this part, that is 360 minus x. So basically, that is 360 minus x minus x. Alright, so therefore the correct answer is letter B.
Easy, right?
Very easy, my dear math learners. So now let us go to question number 38. Find x. Okay, so it has already been given with a value. If the outer arc is 195 degrees. Alright. Is it A, 330 degrees, B, 165 degrees, C, 150 degrees, or letter D, 75 degrees? I'll give you 5 seconds to think about your answer. Alright, my dear math learners, in order for you to understand this question, we can apply what we have learned earlier. So, this one, this outer arc is 195 degrees. So remember that the intercepted or the inscribed angle, okay, so let's consider this inscribed angle is equal to 1/2 times the difference of the bigger, okay, so this is the one, the bigger minus x, okay. So basically, my dear math learners, we already know that this is a whole circle, right? So we can just subtract 360 minus 195. So we can shortcut with the following solution, okay? Because this one is angle 15. All right. So by doing so, if this is a whole circle, this is 195. So therefore, what is needed by 195 in order to become what? 360 degrees. So therefore, we just need letter B, 165 degrees. So letter B is the correct answer for this question. Okay.
Easy, right?
Very easy, my dear math learner. So we had just applied a trick in solving that one. All right. Now, let us go to question number 39. Find each arc measures on the given figure. Okay, so this is the one. So is it A, 45 degrees, B, 60 degrees, C, 90 degrees, or D, 120 degrees? I'll give you 5 seconds to think about your answer. All right, math learners. So basically, what is asked in the problem here is what is the measurement of each arc? This one, this one, this one, this one, and so on and so forth. Now, in order for you to know what is the measurement of each arc, consider that this is a circle, right? And what is this figure? How many arcs are there? So this figure is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so that is an octagon. Okay, so it means that this whole circle is divided into 8 equal arcs. So if that is the case, my dear math learners, what you need to do is 360 divided by 8. Okay, so if that is the case, the correct answer for that is, that is 45.
Easy, right?
Very easy, my dear math learners. So now let us go to the last question. Find the measurement of angle SWT. SWT. Okay, so this is the one. So is it A, 22.5, B, 30 degrees, C, 45 degrees, or letter D, 60 degrees? I'll give you 5 seconds to think about your answer. Alright, math learners, since we already know the measurement of each arc, so therefore what we can do now, if this is 45 degrees. Now remember that the intercepted arc is twice as much as its inscribed angle. So in order for us to know the measurement of the inscribed angle, what we need to do is just divide it by 2. So that 45 earlier, you divide it by 2. What is half of 45? Very good. The correct answer is letter A. Alright.
Easy, right?
Very easy, my dear math learners. So basically, my dear math learners, we have just finished the review for our grade 10 mathematics. So I hope, my dear math learners, you are now ready for your second quarter examination. Congratulations, my dear math learners. I hope you have a high score in our review series. So just share it to us in our comment section below what score you got in our review series. This has been your YouTube Edu Creator Math Teacher Ash, and always remember, it is fun to learn mathematics if we are together learning. Please subscribe to our channel so this may grow and help more students like you. God bless, keep safe always, and take care.